The only way to correct bad behavior in a man is acknowledge it the first time and then copy it the second time. There are some gems out there that if you say, hey, this makes me uncomfortable, or hey, I would like for this behavior to change, like he'll change the first time you ask. But there are some stubborn men. So say you're uncomfortable with your man being out past midnight. Acknowledge it the first time. Just say, hey, babe, this makes me a little uncomfortable. It would make me feel better if you came home by midnight. If he doesn't respect your boundary when you acknowledge it, then it's time for phase 2. Copy his behavior. Make him feel how you feel. So if he's out late and it makes you feel anxious and worried about his whereabouts, make him feel that same way. If he's out and it's midnight and you still haven't heard from him, find somewhere to go. Find something to do. Let him worry how you worry. And I promise you, that habit that you don't like, it'll stop.
Okay, fellas, before I tell you how to handle this type of situation, if your lady is trying to do this, this is why this video is on Patreon. But first things first, this is why I don't really give advice to women, right? And not because I can't, but it's how they think. You have to understand that, okay, cool. If it's something reasonable and she asks you to do it, okay, you can just do it, right? You can say, all right, well, if it's not too far, if not too far off, it's not too crazy. But the problem with this is you trying to tell a grown man what to do. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world, right? Because he's a man. It's very hard. You're basically telling him to submit to me. Like, I don't want you doing this. Now listen to me. Now, if this is your wife, okay, there are certain things, and maybe it's okay to tell your wife where you're at certain times of the night. But if you don't, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to make him feel how I feel, and I'm going to go somewhere and do something. Now, for your average man, that will work, especially if they're unaware of what she's doing, because they're going to think she's suspicious. Some men will think you're suspicious and be like, oh, you're probably out being sus. I'm just going to leave you. Or I'm going to go cheat because you're doing suspicious stuff and I think you're cheating. Or he could be cheating, right? But it doesn't really work, because some men, you can say, oh, I'm going to make you feel how I feel, and you could be out and he doesn't really feel any type of way, especially if you give him a valid excuse. So I'm at my friend's house, I'm at my mom's house. He say, oh, okay. And he's going to continue to do what he's doing, right? And therefore, you really have no effect, because men don't think like women, and that's the problem with what she's saying. But how you handle this is you just simply don't let it affect you, especially if you know it's a tactic. A lot of women try to mirror your behavior, and this is with a lot of techniques on Patreon where I say you do it and you let it have an effect. But when she does it to you, you show no emotion, no reaction, and eventually she'll go back to begging and complaining and doing the regular.